Okay.
Why will be difficult in access data? Because for each and every file to access the data, we need to write a new application program. So it feels difficult to access the data. Every time to access the data, every time we need to write a new application. Yes or no? Next, what is data isolation? Different formats. The data is duplicated in different formats. That may lead to data redundancy. As well as for this accessing of this format, we need to write a new task or a new program. Here, next, what is the next one?
Integrity problem.
What is integrity problems?
Should not be
Right?
less than
Record balance. Example, record balance less than, should not be less than 0. Okay, that means it should contain some value. Next, what is the next one?
atomicity of update.
What is meant by atomicity? The transaction either should be completed or
Not
not be
completed.
completed. Okay, so this we can overcome through DBMS. Next, what is the next one? Parallel transactions we can do with the DBMS. What is the last one?
Security problems.
So we can get the solutions, whatever security problems occurred with DBMS. Is it clear? Yes or no? Yes. Now, important thing in your DBMS is DBMS architecture. Okay? DBMS architecture. So here it is divided into four parts. Previous slide. Go to previous slide. Okay. So this is the database architecture. Zoom చేయండి అమ్మా ఒక్కొక్కటి. If you observe here, this DBMS architecture is divided into 4 parts. How many parts? So on bottom zoom చేయండి. What is the bottom one? Listen to me carefully, my very important structure. Okay. ఇవి వస్తేనే నెక్స్ట్ టాపిక్స్ అన్ని అర్థమవుతాయి. ఓకే, డిబిఎంఎస్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ is divided into 4 parts. First one is disk storage. So it is a low level and it will interact to the higher level. What is the high level? Users will be there. 4 types of users will be there. I'll explain later. As of now, we'll see about disk storage. What is disk storage? Okay, disk storage is nothing but here it is going to store the things. So what the things it is going to store? Let us see one by one. What is data? What is data? All the databases related things. All the databases, all the files will be stored at one place, that is called as data here. Okay, is it clear? What is data? All the databases will be stored in this disk storage. All the files will be stored at one place called as data. Is it clear? Got my point? Yes or no? Next, indices. What is the meaning of indices? Means if you observe in your textbooks, at the first page or second page, we'll find the index. Yes or no? We are using the index. For what we are using index? For a quick response. Okay. For a quick response, we are using the indices. Index. Pages. According to the index, okay, fast we have to get the paper. Fast access, quick access, we'll be using the index. Similarly, index is also here. It will maintain the index of whom? Of these files. Okay, of these files. Index of the database files. Is it clear? Yes or no? So in disk storage, we are having 4. First one is data. What is data? The data that can be recorded. Okay. And all the database files, whatever the file information is there. Okay. That will be stored in this place called as data. Coming to indices. Indices is nothing but index. Okay. So whatever the data information available in the data, okay. So that index will be maintained in indices. Indices. Okay. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, what is data dictionary means? Data dictionary contains metadata. Okay. Metadata. What is the meaning of metadata means? Data about data called as metadata. What is the data dictionary contains? Data dictionary contains metadata. Again, metadata called as data about data. Okay. Data about data called as data dictionary. Nothing but metadata. Data dictionary contains metadata. What is the meaning of metadata? Data about data. Complete details of the database it is going to maintain. Data dictionary. Is it clear? Yes or no? Like our dictionary you take. What? So this contains the database already collected all the collected information within data, right? So from there it is going to take the data and it is going to maintain the graph performance statistics, graphical data. Here, so statistical data will maintain graph performance of the data. Okay, is it clear? In disk storage, it is going to maintain the database in 4 things. First one is data. Okay, all the file information, all the data will be stored in data. Okay, what is the second one? What is indices? Index. The data is stored in the data file or data place. The index will be maintained in indices. Okay, next, what is the next one? Data dictionary. So this data, what is here? This will maintain the metadata in data dictionary. That means it will be data about data. Clear? So in the interrelated. Okay. So what about status data? Maintain graph performance. Okay. And pie charts about this data. Whatever the data presenting in this storage, that is going to maintain the index as well as statistical data. Yes or no? Yes, ma'am. So suppose take student database. We already know in student database. Okay. We have some files like student index. Exam related of result index. Okay. Infrastructure index. Yes or no? Yes. So all collective data. Okay. Yes or no? Next, what is the next one?
Indices.
Okay. So indices is nothing but
Index.
index. Going to maintain the index of this data. Okay. Data dictionary. Data is going to maintain. Which data? This data, right? Next, statistical data. Okay. All the related performance rates, pie charts, graphs. What is data? Okay. Here, that's why we call it as a disk storage. Yes. Here, yes, ma'am. So no. Yes, ma'am. Storage comes having four things. One is data. What is data? Storage what it is going to maintain all the files, all the databases, all the data which we gathered and collected. Data. What is
Indices.
index of what? Index of this data. Okay.
And
Data what? Data. Okay. What as data? Also detail. What is the storage? Storage manager. Yes, different. Storage manager. Offer manager. File manager. All the that function manager. So let us see one by one. So these are interrelated. Offer manager have the relationship with base data. Okay, and file manager is have a relationship with data and okay, and authorization manager will maintain relationship with data. Okay, yeah. So now what is the buffer manager? Buffer manager is nothing but here it is going to fetch the data from the file. Okay, if you observe here, connected to this one only, right? So what is the responsibility of buffer manager? Buffer manager is going to fetch the details of the data. Okay, next. Next is the data. Okay, so buffer manager is responsible to fetch the data from the disk storage. That is my first point. Here, that is the responsibility of buffer manager.
to fetch data.
Fetch the data from where? Fetch the data from the storage. Okay. Already disk storage data. Because data is storage. Okay. So that is the responsibility. And also it will decide that what data should be taxed. What is taxed?
Full screen చేశాను. Full screen. Slides full screen. లేదు చదవలేదు. ఇదిగోండి ఆడుకుందామంటే
Yes. Yes, am I clear? What is buffer manager? What is buffer manager? It is going to fetch the data from where to where? From disk storage. Okay. What is the second point I have said? It is going to decide what data should be cached into the memory. Okay. Next, what is the second one? File manager. So here file manager responsibility to allocate the spaces for the file. Okay. So what about file manager? It is going to allocate the spaces for the file, and it is also going to see the capacity. Okay. It will maintain the capacity. And it also maintains the sizes. Okay. Two things. Okay. File manager is responsible to allocate the spaces. Second one, it is also going to maintain the sizes of the files. Sizes of the files. Yes, I hope you all clear about these two. Yes or no? Buffer manager and file manager. Next, what is the third one? Authorization and integrity manager. Authorization and integrity manager. Last వాళ్ళు కనిపించకపోయినా నేను చెప్పేది రాయొచ్చమ్మా. Authorization and integrity manager. So what is the meaning of authorization? Somebody has to verify. Yes or no? Verification. Somebody has to authorize. If you, for example, take our banking systems only. Okay, for any check or any bank retrievals or bank usage, we need to consult the bank manager whether the person is existing customer or not. Suppose I have given one check. The bank clerk, what is the responsibility of the bank clerk? He is going to authorize the person is belongs to so and so. So he is having so and so account number, branch name. Yes or no? So authorization is needed. Here also authorization and integrity manager. Again, what is the meaning of integrity? It is going to maintain the integrity problems also. That means what here? The account balance or the account number which is there, it should not be null or empty. All that responsibility will be taken care by the authorization and integrity manager. Like we have seen in purpose of DBMS, right? Integrity problems. So here in storage manager, authorization and integrity manager will maintain all those things. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, what is the last one? So, transaction manager will going to maintain the transaction details. Okay, transaction details and also concurrent access details, parallel access, parallel transaction. Is it clear? Yes or no? So in storage manager, again we are having 4 types. What are that? Buffer manager, file manager, authorization integrity manager, transaction manager. What is buffer manager? It is going to fetch the data from the disk storage. Okay. And also one more point I said. It is going to decide what data should be cached into the main memory. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, what is the second one? File manager. File manager responsibility to allocate the spaces for the files. And second point, maintains the file sizes. Okay. Next, authorization and integrity manager, verification and authentication of the existing things, and also it is going to maintain the integrity. Okay. Integrity. What is meant by integrity? What is meant by integrity? Integrity ante ఏంటమ్మా? So whatever the verified thing, whatever the authorized one, it should have a valid details. Okay. And it should not be null or empty, or it should follow some constraints, conditions. Okay. Next, what is the transaction manager? It will contain all transaction details, okay, of this data. Okay. And also concurrent access detail, parallel access detail it is going to maintain. Okay. Here disk storage will plays an important role. That's why I said it is an interaction from the low level to high level. Is it clear? Yes or no? So this is about disk storage and storage manager. Now, first part, users. How many types of users are there? 4 types. What is the first one? Navy users. Second one is application programmers. Third one is sophisticated users. Fourth one is database administrators. Okay. Database administrators. Okay. Let us see one by one. These are people called as users. Okay. Users. Navy users are nothing but people who will use the GUI blindly. They are not having any technical knowledge. Okay, they'll use just, they have to use. Okay, so suppose take in layman terms a labor people. Each and every person is having now smartphones. Yes or no? They'll know the operate, how to operate. They need not to bother what is the internal working. And they also know, they will also not known about the complete device. Yes or no? What is the size of the hard disk and how to operate the things, what are the internal things, how to provide a spaces for the files. Yes or no? Navy users are nothing but web agents. Like a simple, a labor can use the ATM machine also. Going to ATM machine, he'll insert the card and he'll get the money. Yes or no? Without the knowledge, he is using the interface. That is what, which interface they are going to use, like command line arguments by giving some instructions, like GUI, graphical user interface. So these people are called as web agents or Navy users. They are not having any technical knowledge. They are users. That's it. Is it clear? Yes or no? Who are Navy users? User interfaces. Like example, tell us agents, web users. tellers, agents, web users. Is it clear? Yes or no? Now, what is the second one? Who are called as application programmers? Who will develop the programs? Who writes the programs? They are called as application programmers. Yes or no? Who are going to write the programs? They are called as developers. They are also called as application programmers. Is it clear? Means they are having technical knowledge how to write the program as well as how to use these products. Like example ATM. They also know how to use the ATMs. Yes or no? Similarly, Navy users also know how to use the ATMs, but they are not having technical knowledge how to write the program. Okay. But these people, application programmers, having the knowledge how to write a program, and they are also going to use this one. Is it clear? Yes or no? What is the third one? Sophisticated users. Sophisticated users. So these people, we can call it as query tool users. Query tool users. What is meant by query? A request is submitted to the some users. Based on the requirements, it is submitted some given instructions to the computer. Yes or no? Query tools are nothing but here comes database languages. Database languages. Like I said, DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, right? So query tools are nothing but those four things. Who is going to use that four things? Sophisticated users. Means these people are having knowledge how to write a program, and also they are going to use the query tools. Okay, is it clear? Yes or no? Next, database administrator. Who is database administrator? The person is having, only the person is having authorization to change the database. Only the person who is having authorization to change the structure. What is meant by schema? Logical structure of a database is, so schema, right? For student table, we'll be having the column names like roll number, name, phone number, email ID. Okay. So this we call it as a schema. Logical structure, we call it as a schema. So here, if we want to restructure, if we want to add any columns, if we want to change this, we cannot do that one. Who is going to do? DBA, database administrator. Database administrator going to perform all those operations. Is it clear? See, here records can be inserted by us. Okay, records can be inserted by us, but the structure will be changed by whom? Database administrator. Okay, మా రికార్డ్స్ అన్ని మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయొచ్చు, మనం అప్డేట్ చేయొచ్చు, డిలీట్ చేయొచ్చు. ఇందులో లోపల ఉన్నవి మనం చేయొచ్చు. ఓకేనా? అప్డేట్ చేయొచ్చు, డిలీట్ చేయొచ్చు, ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయొచ్చు, క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఒకసారి ఫామ్ అయ్యాక మనం ఏం చేయడానికి లేదు. With the help of database administrator, we should modify. So that commands are different. Database administrator commands are different. That is the thing. Database administrator will going to use what? Administration tools. Now see here, who are Navy users? I said this is very important question, but వెనకున్నోళ్ళు ఇంకా నవ్వుతూ మాట్లాడుకుంటూనే ఉన్నారమ్మా. మరి నేను టైం పాస్కి చెప్తున్నానమ్మా మీకు. Who are Navy users? Who does not have a knowledge about the programming knowledge, and they'll use only the interfaces. Okay, through interfaces they are communicated. Okay, they are called as web users. Okay, tellers, agents. Is it clear? Now see here, what is there? So that's why Navy users going to use the which one? Application interfaces. అర్థమైందా ఇప్పుడు? Navy users going to use what? Application interfaces. Next, application programmers. What is application programmers? The users are going to develop the programs called as application programs. So the users going to write the program. Yes or no? Application program writes the application programs. Application programmers write the application programs. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, who are sophisticated users? These people are also called as analysts, who is having a technical knowledge and they also know how to use the query tools. That's why the sophisticated users going to use the query tools. Is it clear? Yes or no? What is the last one? Database administrators. Okay, these people are going to use only the administration tools. Is it clear? Yes or no? So we have seen 4 types of users: Navy users, application programmers, sophisticated users, database administrator. Navy users going to use the application interfaces. Application programmers going to write the application programs. Sophisticated users are going to use the query tools. Database administrators going to use the administration tools. Up to this clear? Yes or no? Now we go for query processor. Query processor. Okay, query processor. Again, if you observe here, before only I said now, what is schema? The logical structure of a database is schema. Who is going to change the schema? Database administrator. Database administrator going to use the or change the schema. If you observe here, by using the data administrator, he is going to use the administration tools. From that, we will get the DDL interpreter. What is the meaning of DDL? Data definition language. Okay, which deals with the schema. Okay, which deals with the schema. Is it clear? Yes or no? So a database administrator going to use the administration tools. From that, they are going to generate DDL interpreter. Okay. సో ఏవైతే మనం ఇప్పుడు స్ట్రక్చర్ ఫామ్ చేస్తున్నామో అవన్నీ కమాండ్స్ డిడిఎల్ కిందకు వస్తాయమ్మా. డేటా డెఫినిషన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఏవైతే మనం ఇన్సర్ట్ చేస్తామో విత్ ఇన్ టేబుల్లో అవన్నీ డిఎంఎల్ కిందకు వస్తాయి. అర్థమైందా? సో డేటా డెఫినిషన్ లాంగ్వేజ్. Next, sophisticated users going to use the query tools. From that, we are going to get the DML queries. So data manipulation language. So this deals with the data present in a table. Ardhamainda? Yes or no? Got the difference between DDL and DML? Data definition language, it deals with the structure. Schema is nothing but structure. So DML, it deals with the data present in a table. Is it clear? Yes or no? Now these sophisticated users are going to use the query tools. From that, we are going to get the DML queries. Is it clear? Yes or no? Now look at here. Application programmers are going to write the application programs. From that, it is going to get compiler and linker. After writing any code or any program, what we are going to do? Compile and we are going to run the program. Yes or no? Similarly, here also compiler and linker. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, Navy users going to use the application programs, application interfaces. From that we are going to get the program object code. Okay, is it clear? Yes or no? By default this program is fixed. Yes or no? I am going to ATM, I am going to withdraw money, means what will happen? Already the system has set by default to get withdraw the money. No need of doing anything there. Yes or no? కొత్తగా రాసి ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఏమన్నా నేను విత్డ్రా చేసుకుంటానమ్మా? లేదు కదా, ఆల్రెడీ ఫిక్స్ అయిపోయింది ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్. ఎస్ ఆర్ నో? సో from Navy users, from the application interfaces, it is going to generate the program code. Up to this clear? Yes or no? Or having any doubts? I'm asking everyone, this is very important architecture, ma. Now from DML queries, DML compiler and organizer will be there. Okay, so by using all this we'll get query evaluation engine. So for what query evaluation engine is used means for optimization. It is used for optimization to get the best queries. To get what? Best queries. With the help of query processor, we are going to use the query evaluation engine which provides us best queries. Is it clear? For example, take our Google Maps. For what we are using Google Maps? ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం మనము? To find the shortest path. Yes or no? Nearest path. We are going to use the Google Maps. Similarly, here also query evaluation engine is used for getting the best queries. Best queries. Is it clear? Yes or no? So this is about database architecture. So database architecture is divided into 4 parts: disk storage, storage manager, query processor, users. Is it clear? Yes or no? Draw this one. డ్రా చేస్తారమ్మా, లేకపోతే పీపీటీస్ పంపిస్తారా, చూసుకుంటారా? So who are sophisticated users? Who are sophisticated users? They are also called as analysts. Okay, who are application programmers? Writer user. Who writes the application programs? Who are Navy users? Who are Navy users? They are going to use only the interface without the knowledge of how to write a program. Is it clear? They are also called as tellers, agents, web users. Is it clear? Who is DBA now? So what is the difference between DDL and DML? It deals with the schema. Okay, DML deals with the data present in a table. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next slide. ఇవన్నీ అయిపోయాయి. పార్ట్ 2 ఓపెన్ చేయండి. మరి ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి అమ్మా. వింటున్నారా అసలు? లాస్ట్ వాళ్ళైతే అస్సలు వినట్లేదు. ఏమ్మా, ఏమైంది మీకు? అర్థం కావట్లేదా? ఏంటి ప్రాబ్లం? Part 2. Shall I give once again that overview? Enough? చెప్పండమ్మా చెప్పాలమ్మా ఒకసారి డేటాబేస్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ పార్ట్ 2. Yes. Am I audible, ma? So let us start next.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello.
Yes, listen to me here. So what is single valued attribute? It will have only a single value for a particular entity. Okay. So for a particular entity, example age. Next, coming to the multi-valued attributes. Here we will having for a single file or a single particular entity will be having multiple values. Multiple values. For example, a person will have the languages known. A person will have languages known like 2 or 3. Yes or no? Telugu, Hindi, English. Avuna? 3 languages, 4 languages. A person is having many degrees. A person can have more than 1 degrees. That we call it as multi-valued attributes. Multi-valued attributes. And the best example is for multi-valued attributes, college degrees, languages known. College degrees, languages known. Is it clear? Yes or no? So what is the difference between composite attribute and simple attribute? What is composite attribute? It can be divided into further parts. Example, name can be divided into further parts like first name, middle name, last name. Coming to simple attribute. Age or salary. Okay, coming to the single valued attribute. What is single value? Only it will have the single value or just one value for a particular entity. Okay, the best example is age. Okay, coming to this one, multi-valued, it will have multiple set of values for a particular entity. A person will have more than 1 degree. Yes or no? A person can know more than 1 language. He is having multiple values for a particular entity. Yes or no? Next. So, ela represent chestarante ikkada chudandamma. So, single valued will be represented the age. Example I said no, age underline in ellipse shape. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, multi-valued, languages known. So that will represent in double ellipse. Okay? Is it clear? Yes or no? Even a person can have multiple phone numbers, contacts. So that we can represent in double ellipse. Is it clear? Yes or no? Entity is represented in rectangle box. Okay. And relationship is nothing but association between these two entities. And simple attribute we are going to represent in normal ellipse. What is meant by attribute? A property which describes an entity called as an attribute. Okay, attributes are represented in ellipse shape. So we are seeing the differences. What are the different types of attributes? Is it clear? Yes or no? Next slide. Now see here, what is this name? Derived attributes. Derived attribute. So what is the meaning of derived attribute is an attribute which is derived from the other attribute. An attribute which is derived from the other attribute is called as derived attribute. Okay. An attribute which is derived from the other attribute is called as a derived attribute. If you observe age, from age we can generate date of birth, isn't it? Yes or no? From age we can generate date of birth. Okay, so here it is dependent. Age is dependent on date of birth. Based on the date of birth only age will be calculated, isn't it? Yes or no? So this we call it as a derived attribute. What is derived attribute? An attribute which is derived from other attribute called as derived attribute. Example is age. From age we can derive date of birth. Is it clear? Yes or no? So here it is represented in dashed ellipse. Okay, na? Whereas composite attributes, how it is going to represent? Composite. Much fair. Composite. Composite ella. ఎలా రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తారు? నేమ్ ఉంటే దాని పార్ట్స్, ఫర్దర్ పార్ట్స్. ఓకే, మల్టీ వాల్యూడ్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద రిప్రజెంటేషన్ ఆఫ్ మల్టీ వాల్యూడ్? ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పండి. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆఫ్ మల్టీ వాల్యూడ్ అట్రిబ్యూట్? Languages known. Okay, that will be represented in double ellipse or degree or contact number. Yes or no? Next, derived attribute represented is dashed ellipse. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next slide. Now key attribute. See. Key attribute. It is used to represent the main characteristics of an entity. Yes, keep quiet. Key attribute is used, okay, to represent for example, take this only. Student is there. What is the main characteristic in the student? Roll number is the main, not name or not gender. Why? Because the roll number will be uniquely identify a particular student. Yes or no? The roll number, it is going to identify a particular student called as a key attribute. What is key attribute? A key attribute is used to represent the main characteristic of an entity. So in this entity, which is main characteristic? Roll number is a main characteristic. So underline. Okay. Next. ఒకసారి ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్కి వెళ్ళండి. అది కాదు, ముందు ముందు. ఎందుకమ్మా మాట్లాడుతున్నారు మీరు? నేను ఆపేస్తానమ్మా, నేను చెప్పను. So see here, key attribute, it is going to represent primary key. What is primary key? See, in your DBMS, you are having different types of keys. Okay, primary key, foreign key, candidate key, super key. These are very essential to create the tables. Okay. So first of all, listen. As of now, listen. What is primary key? What is meant by primary key means you need to follow the two conditions must and should. What are the two conditions means the primary key always it should be represented first and it should not be null or empty and it should be unique. Yes, what is primary key? Primary key is having two conditions. Okay, primary key is having two conditions. What is the first condition I am saying? It should not be null or empty. You need to remember blindly what is primary key. Always we use mainly primary key only. Okay, what are the two conditions? It should not be null or empty. What is the second I said? It should be unique. Okay. So for what we will be having the unique values according to the student table, roll number. For customer table, name. Unique values దేనికుంటాయమ్మా నేమ్ కుంటాయా ఏజ్ కుంటదా ఏజ్ ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తారు మిమ్మల్ని ఏజ్ తో ఎలా ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తారు customer ID. For each and every entity will have some unique, right, IDs. Okay. So primary key conditions are two conditions. It should not be null or empty. Second one, it should have unique values. Okay. The column should have only the unique values. That means what here? Replicated undaddu, duplicated undaddu. Is it clear? Yes or no? So tomorrow session, in lab session, I am going to use this primary key also. There I will show. Okay. It will not allow the unique values and it will not allow the null values also. Okay. So this is the condition about the primary key. What are the two conditions? It should not be null or empty. Inka, it should have unique values. It should have unique values. Is it clear? So what is the point here? It represents primary key. Key attribute is represented with ellipse within the text underline. So, will it be a primary key? In a student table, shall I take roll number as a primary key? Yes or no? Why? Because it will not have any unique value. It will have unique values and what is the second one? It will not have any empty or null. Okay? Is it clear? So, that's why we call it as a key attribute. అర్థమైందా? Next slide. Now see here. According to this ER diagram, what are the entities we have? Yes, see here. What are the entities we have in this ER diagram? How many entities are there? 2 or 3 or 4? Only this one. How many entities are there in this year? What are that? Employee and then what is this one? Relationship. Okay. Employee works in departments. Employee works in departments. Again, employee have the SSN. What is SSN? Identification number. Okay. Identification number. Name, location. Next. Again, for relationship also we have the attributes. Okay, na? For relationship also we have the attributes. Ademantaru next slide. Okay. Next, even department is having Attributes like department ID, department name, department budget. Is it clear? Yes or no? Now see here, what is relationship? We already know what is relationship. It is an association among two entities. Two entities. Okay? Two or more entities. Like John works in a pharmacy department. Like employee works in a department. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next, relationship set. Relationship set is nothing but it is a collection of similar relationships. Like entity set, it is a collection of entities, right? Here also relationship is nothing but it is a collection of similar relationships. Okay. Again, in relationships, we are having four types that I'll explain in next slides. Okay. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next slide. Now see here. What is descriptive attribute? What is descriptive attribute? Don't get confused. What is derived attribute and descriptive? What is derived attribute? It is going to derive the attribute which is derived from the other attribute. Okay. Example. Age. From age, we are going to get the date of birth. Okay. Here, descriptive attribute. I said previous, for relationship also we are having the attribute that we call it as a descriptive attribute. Okay. So what here it is defining? Works in means a person or employee works from since in a department it is going to show. A relationship can also have its own attribute to record the information about the relationship. Is it clear? Yes or no? Derived attribute is different. Descriptive attribute is different. Okay. What is descriptive attribute? In a relationship, you need to say. In a relationship which has the own attribute. Okay. Example, since. Since attribute is associated with works in relationship. Okay. So even an instance of relationship will be having four types. Next slide, Kalanamma. ఏమైందమ్మా రాస్తున్నారా రాయండి ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్కి వెళ్ళి రాయండి Finished? Make it fast. So what is the representation of derived attribute? Representation అడుగుతున్నా నేను ఎలా డ్రా చేస్తారు? How to represent derived attribute? Dashed ellipse. Coming to here, in relationship it is going to have the attribute, we call it as a descriptive attribute. Okay. Finished? Next slide. Now see here, how many entities are there? Emma, stop talking. Yes, stop talking. Everyone look at here. How many entities are there here? What are that? Employee, department, and location. Okay, location. So this we call it as ternary relationship. Okay, a relation involving three entities. A relation involving three entities called as ternary relationship. Okay, so here we have three entities: employee, department, location. So what is the relationship we are having? Relationship ఏముంది ఇక్కడ? Work scene. Okay, so this scenes we call it as a descriptive attribute. Okay, so this we call it as a ఏం attribute? అండర్లైన్ ఉంటే ఏం చెప్పాలి? Key attribute. Key attribute. Okay, is it clear? So ternary relationship involving three entities called as ternary relationship. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next slide. So write down this definition. ER model stands for entity relationship and it is a high level of a data model. In morning session we have seen what is data model. Yes. So it is a high level of data model. In types also we have seen entity relation model, right? Yes or no? What are the different types or different categories of data model? What is the first one? Relational data model, entity relationship data model, object based data model, semi-structured. So this is the second type, yes or no? So that's why it is a high level data model. So which is used to define the data elements. Okay, data elements. So this develops a conceptual tool. Okay. So here model the database structure is portrayed as a ER diagrams. Why we need to draw the ER diagrams? Before creating the tables, yes or no? Before creating the tables, we need to draw the ER diagram. Before building construction, we'll have the blueprint, yes or no? So similarly here also before creating the tables, we need to draw the ER diagrams. From ER diagrams, we are going to create the tables. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next. So this is a structure scene. We have seen ER model attributes, yes or no? We have seen attributes, key attribute, composite attribute, multi-valued attribute and derived attribute. What is key attribute? Which describes the main characteristic in a entity like roll number. Next, composite attribute divided into further parts. Multi-valued attribute, it can have a set of multiple values for a particular entity. Example, degree or languages known. Okay, derived attribute, which is derived from other attribute. Okay, example. So in entity we have weak entity that I'll explain now. In relationship again we are having four types. What are that? One to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. Next slide, Kelani. So this is a structure. Okay. Now see what is weak entity. We already know what is an entity. Yes or no? What is an entity? Yes. What is an entity? It is a real world thing or an object. Yes or no? Example. So here two entities are there. Employee, department. What is this one? Relationship. Employee works for a department. Okay. So an entity may be an object, class, person, or place. Okay. So ER diagram entity can be represented in which form? Rectangles. Okay. Next, what is meant by weak entity? An entity which is dependent on other entity. An entity which is dependent on other entity called as weak entity. Don't get confused about derived, descriptive and weak entity. Okay, what is derived attribute? Which is derived from other attribute. That is attribute. Okay, descriptive attribute and even relationship also has the attribute called as descriptive attribute. Coming to this one, weak entity is nothing but which is dependent on other entity. Okay, which is dependent on other entity called as weak entity. And weak entity doesn't contain any key attribute on its own. Okay, and weak entity which doesn't contain any key attribute on its own. The weak entity is represented by double rectangle. Double rectangle. Okay. Previous slide kelandi. Double rectangle. Okay. If you observe here, which is dependent on which one? Loan is dependent on installment. Yes or no? So the dependent one can be represented in double rectangle. Loan untene kadamma installment undedi. Yes or no? So loan is dependent on installment. Is it clear? So that is going to represent in double rectangle. Is it clear? Weak entity. What is weak entity? An entity which is dependent on other entity. Here, installment is dependent on loan. Okay? Loan is dependent on installment. Next slide. Attribute. We already know what is meant by attribute. What is attribute? A property which describes an entity called as an attribute. A property which describes an entity called as an attribute. Okay. So here example ID. Okay. Age. Look at here. Yes, everyone concentrate here, not there. Emma, ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నారు? So a best example for this one is a student will have ID, name, phone number, age. ID, phone number, age, contact number and also name. Next, key attribute. What is key attribute? So it is represent the main characteristics. Okay, with underline. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Composite attribute. We have seen this composite attribute. What is composite attribute? An attribute which is further divided into parts. Like name is divided into parts like first name, middle name, last name. Okay. First name, middle name, last name. Okay. Next, what is multi-valued attributes? It can have more than one value for a particular entity. More than one value for a particular entity called as multi-valued attributes. Example, degree or languages known. So it is represented with double ellipse. Is it clear? Don't get confused. Next slide. Derived attribute. Next slide. Relationship. What is relationship now? It is an association between two or more entities. Okay. Here we see the types of relationship. How many types? There are 4 types. What are that? One to one, one to many to one, many to many. How many types are there? 4 types. What are that? One to one to many to one, many to many. Okay. So let us see one by one. One to one. What is one to one? అక్కడ ఉన్నదని చదవండి. Only one instance of an entity is associated with the relation. It is known as one to one. A female is married to male. Yes or no? అవునా? ఇంకా చెప్పండి, ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ చెప్పండి వన్ టు వన్. Only one instance of the left hand side is associated with the relationship of other right side. Could you give me example for this one to one? చెప్పండి అమ్మా. ఇంకేమంటాయి? Parent and child. Yes or no? Next, second. Next slide. So one to many. So what is one to many? Yes. Keep quiet. What is one to many? When only one instance of the left hand side, okay, is associated with more than one instance of the right association. Ardhamainda? Only one on the left hand side is associated with the more than one on the right side entity. Okay. Here example, scientist invents many inventions. Yes, even a student can do many projects. He is not restricted to only one, right? So a person or a student can do many projects. Is it clear? Yes or no? So only one instance on the left is associated with the more than one on the right side. Next, many to one. Only one instance on the left. Okay. Sorry. More than one on the left and only one on the right associated. Example, a student can enroll many courses. Yes or no? A student can enroll many courses or many subjects. Like you take your branch now, second year, you can enroll for 6 subjects. Yes or no? You are not restricted to take only one subject, right? You are allowed to take 6 subjects. Okay. So students, not student. Okay. Students enrolls courses. Next. ఎలా రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తారు? M means many. Okay. One means one. Even we can mention as star also. That means all. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next. What is many to many? More than one instance on the left associated with the more than one instance on the right. We call it as many to many relationship. Example, employee is assigned to project. Many employees can assign to the projects. Is it clear? 4 types of relationships. What are that? What is the first one? One to one. One to many. Many to one. What is meant by one to one? Only one instance on the left side is associated with the only one instance on the right side. Okay. What is many to one? Many to one. More than one instance on the left side is associated with the only one instance on the right side. Example, can enroll the course. Okay. Next, coming to the second one, one to many. On the left side is associated with the more than one instance on the right side. Example, scientist invents or student can do many projects. So what is many to many? Example, employees can assign many more projects. Is it clear? Yes or no? Till now we have seen different types of attributes, different types of relationships. Okay? Next slide. Specialization. So this is a symbol specialization. Okay, so see here, this is an entity which is divided into sub-entities based on the characteristics. It is a top-down approach. If you observe it is a specialization symbol. Okay, so this employee is maybe a developer or tester. Employer may be a developer or tester. So the representation of specialized is a. Adhamainda? Is a reverse triangle. Okay, is it clear? Next. So this is about is a. Next element. So generalization. In specialization, it is a top down or bottom up? Top down. Coming to generalization, symbol representation is like this. Okay, is a. Is it specialization reverse triangle? Okay, so it is a bottom up approach. This is a top down approach. Here the process will be creating into the groups called as generalization. Okay, in generalization we are going to generalize the thing into the form of groups. Okay, here we are creating into subgroups. We call it as specialization. Like employee may be a tester or developer. Okay, is it clear? Yes or no? In the subgroups, yes, Taramma, indulo only grouping. Okay, so this is from union of two or more level entities to produce the higher level entity. Here, we'll take the subset of higher level entities to form a lower level entity set. Okay, so with the generalization, it reduces the size of schema. With specialization, it will increase the size of schema. Okay, next. Aggregation. So generalization is a symbol of triangle. Is a specialization reverse triangle. Okay. Now aggregation symbol is this one. It will be filled mark. Okay. So see here, used to model a relation between the collection of entities. This is an one what we call one entity. This we can consider as an other entity. In this between two entities will be having one relationship that is called as aggregation. Okay. Now aggregation allows us to create a relationship as an entity for the purpose of participation of relationship. Next slide, calendar sir. Previous calendar sir. Previous. Aggregation ఒకసారి చెప్పేసారు. Now see here, how many entities are there here? Two, projects and the department, which is connected with the relationship sponsor. Okay, and this project's whole thing monitors the, who is going to monitor? Employee going to monitor the project as well as the department. Okay, is it clear? This we call it as an aggregation. Okay, next slide. From this ER diagram, we have created the table. How? Ella sir. Yes, keep quiet. How to create a table? Table. According to this, tell me. Create table. What is the table name here? Employee. Create table. What is the table name? Employees. What is the attribute we are having? SSN, integer, and size we need to give. Name, varchar, 20, comma, some location, varchar, okay. For this, if you want to give a primary key, what is the conditions of primary key? Null or empty. It should have unique values. Okay. Suppose I want to create primary key. So I will keep the primary key for SSN. Primary key. Okay. Here I am going to write. Is it clear? Yes or no? Next. Now, what is cardinality? Means number of rows we call it as a cardinality. In a table, number of rows we call it as a cardinality. How many rows are there according to this one? How many rows are there? Rows ante kuda teliyada ippudu. Ivi rows ఆ కాదా? ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి? So what is cardinality? Number of rows or records. According to this one, how many are there? 5. What is degree? Number of columns. Number of columns. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what is cardinality? Number of rows or number of records called as a cardinality. Okay. What is degree? Number of columns we call it as a degree. How many are there according to this table? 4. So table is nothing but a table represents rows and columns. According to the queries we are giving means we'll get in the form of tables. Each and everything will get in the form of tables only. Is it clear? Next slide. Now look at here. So this is the ER diagram, entity relationship diagram for university. Entity relationship diagram for university. So we can also write like this. Okay. So what is the name here? Entity enni unnai cheppandi ikkada. How many entities are there here? Count and tell me how many entities are there? Only 7. Only 8. Huh? From first we'll see department, instructor, student, course, section, time slot, classroom. Yes or no? Grade. Okay. Enni unnai? 8 unnai. So how many entities are there? How many relationships are there? Course, department, prerequisites, section, class, time slot, take. Okay. So if in exam they are giving, write a ER diagram or explain a ER diagram for university database means you need to draw like this. Is it clear? Yes or no? You need to use one to one, one to many, many to one. అన్ని relationships ఇక్కడ యూజ్ చేసి రాయాలి. That two attributes కూడా యూజ్ చేయాలి. Composite attribute, multi valued attribute, single valued attributes. Is it clear? Yes or no? మీకు ఇలా కష్టంగా ఉంటే మీరు ఇలా నార్మల్ గా డ్రా చేయొచ్చు. ఎంటిటీ ఎలా రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తాం? రెక్టాంగిల్ బాక్స్. ఓకే, ఇస్ ఇట్ క్లియర్? నెక్స్ట్, so this is an ER diagram for payroll system. Okay, payroll system. So what is one here? What is one here? Entity number. 1 to 1. Okay, 1 to 1. Next, this one 1 to many. Here also 1 to many. Okay, so you need to replace many to many unda. Next slide kelandi. Go to next slide. So this is an ER diagram for hotel management system. ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇక్కడ సింబల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, చెప్పండి అమ్మా. Yes, what is this symbol? What is this symbol? Weak entity. Based on reservation, price will be decided. Yes or no? Next, what is this one? Underline one. Key attribute. Okay, key attribute. ఇంకేమున్నాయి? So see here how to write. Simple, I'll say. Yes, keep quiet. So customer, already we know how to write the attributes for the customer. Take the reservation. Reservation means we'll be having reservation ID, date, period, end date, start date. Okay, em complex em kadamma, simple. Okay, today's price. For today's price, hotel ID, available rooms, date. Okay, like that you need to write. Very simple to write. Okay, you need, your wish, you can write any attribute, but it should have some meaning. That is what, no, the property which describes the entity called as an attribute. Yes or no? Next slide, Kellen. So online shopping. So this is an ER diagram for online shopping site. A customer buys a product. A customer buys a product. Yes or no? So it is going to show the relationship symbol. A customer belongs to online shopping. Online shopping has different categories like ID, name. Okay, category name has some products, and these are going to add into the cart items. Okay, next, a customer does a payment, payment ID, amount, payment type, done, cart, and mode of transport, mode of transaction. Okay, is it clear? Yes or no? I've been the last. So with this, your unit 1 completed. Tomorrow I'll start second unit. Up to this clear? Or having any doubts? Any confusion is there? So morning నుంచి ఏం చెప్పాను చెప్పండి. ఇప్పుడు మీ టర్న్. ఇప్పుడు వరకు నేను చెప్పాను కదా, చెప్పండి. Now I'll ask one by one. Okay? Yes, ma'am. What is database management system? Get up your name. Next person. Database management system I'm asking. అంతేనా? ఏమ్మా ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు? కూర్చోండి. క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుతున్నానని వెళ్తున్నారా? కూర్చోండి. ఇవాళ రేపైనా అడుగుతాను కదా వెళ్తే. నెక్స్ట్ యువర్ లాస్ట్ పర్సన్. వాట్ ఈస్ డేటాబేస్ మేనేజ్మెంట్? Creation and maintenance of which data? చెప్పు. నువ్వు చెప్తున్నావు ఆమెకి. Sit down. Next, what is data model? Yourself. Second bench లో third one. Get up. What is data model? Data model. అంటే దీన్ని బట్టి మీరు వినట్లేదని అర్థమైంది. దీన్ని బట్టి మీరు వినట్లే, మైక్ లోనే చెప్తున్నాను కదా, వినపడట్లేదా మీకు? వాట్ ఈస్ డేటా మోడల్? నెక్స్ట్ మీరమ్మా సెకండ్. సో వాట్ ఈస్ రిలేషన్షిప్ డేటా మోడల్? రిలేషనల్ డేటా మోడల్. దగ్గండి, అందరు దగ్గుదురు ఇప్పుడు. At least tell me how many are there? How many categories? How many categories are there? What are that? Good. Sit down. Next, Meerama, last person. What is semi-structured data model? వినట్లేదు. వినట్లేదు మీరు. నెక్స్ట్ మీరు. What is primary key? What is primary key? ఇవాళ అడగను వాళ్ళని రేపు అడుగుతానమ్మా. నిన్ను అడిగిందైతే చెప్పావు కానీ. వాట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమరీ కీ? ఏమ్మా మీరు కూర్చోండి అమ్మా. మీరు మీ బ్యాక్ సైడ్. వాట్ ఈస్ అన్ ఎంటిటీ? Example. What is a relationship? Next, first. Mere first. What is derived attribute? What is derived attribute? ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా వింటున్నట్టు పెడుతున్నారేంటమ్మా ఫేసెస్ మీరు? చెప్పానా లేదా derived attribute? చెప్పలేదా? I didn't get you. Speak loudly. Example. వాళ్ళు చెప్పట్లేదు ఎగ్జాంపుల్. Next, last. What is descriptive attribute? What is descriptive attribute? ఊరికే లేచి నుంచోవడం కాదమ్మా. పొద్దున్నుంచి చెప్పాను, గుర్తులేదా ఏం చెప్పానో? Tomorrow I'll ask each and everyone. So read and come. This row. Yes, you middle get up. Leave and come. What is composite attribute? What is composite attribute? Two parts. కొత్త క్రియేట్ చేసావా నువ్వు? ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వాళ్ళు చెప్పని, నువ్వు చెప్పాక చెప్తావు కదా. సిట్ డౌన్. నెక్స్ట్, లాస్ట్ బెంచ్, లాస్ట్ బట్ వన్ మీరమ్మా. ఫోర్త్ వన్, బిఫోర్ బెంచ్ లో ఫోర్త్ వన్. ఎస్, గెటప్. పింక్ చున్నీ ఆమెనేలే, ఈమె ముందు 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 రోలో. వాట్ ఈస్ డిస్క్రిప్టివ్ అట్రిబ్యూట్? మరి నేను అడుగుతున్నానా మిమ్మల్ని పేజెస్ టర్న్ చేయమని చెప్తున్నానా నేను? మార్నింగ్ ఆన్వర్డ్స్ కంటిన్యూస్లీ టాకింగ్. You are not listening to hear. What is descriptive attribute? Did I ask you? Last question. మీరు కూడా కూర్చోండి. Last. What is primary key? ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నారా అమ్మా? కామెడీ అవుతుందా మీకేమన్నా? ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నారు? వాట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమరీ కీ? ఎస్, పక్కన లేపండి. మీ పక్కన అమ్మాయి ఎవరమ్మా? లేవండి ఒకసారి. వాట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమరీ కీ? ఇప్పుడు నవ్వు కాస్తా చూస్తాం. వాట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమరీ కీ? కాలమ్ ఆఫ్ సెట్సా? అదే చెప్పాను నేను. ఎస్, వాట్ ఈస్ ప్రైమరీ కీ? What are the two conditions? ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నారా? ఇప్పుడు కూడా నవ్వుతున్నారు మీరు. కామన్ సెన్స్ లేదా మీకు? నెక్స్ట్, దిస్ సైడ్, సెకండ్ వన్. So what is key attribute? What is key attribute? Yes, keep it. Example. I need example. ఆమె చున్నీ అడ్డం పెట్టుకొని చెప్తాను నీకు. What is an example of key attribute? Yes, last bench, last person. What is multi-valued attribute? What is multi-valued attribute? I didn't get you. నాకు వినపడట్లే గట్టిగా. సెట్ ఆఫ్ వాల్యూస్. ఇంకా పక్కన అమ్మాయికి నవ్వు వస్తూనే ఉంది. ఎందుకో మరి. ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నావు? సెకండ్ పర్సన్ నువ్వే. ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నావు? ఏంటమ్మా నీ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటి చెప్పు. నేను క్వశ్చన్ అడిగినా నువ్వు చెప్పట్లేదు, ఎందుకు నవ్వుతున్నావు మరి? So see, I'm giving one assignment for you. Tomorrow, prepare and come. Database languages. Database languages are of 4 types: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. Because I'm going to explain that languages tomorrow. I'm going to explain the commands tomorrow. That's why be prepare and come. Is it clear? Yes or no? And bring your laptops and also download MySQL. MySQL Server 5.0. Based on your configuration, you can download. Okay. Just click on the first or second link. You will be getting. Okay. Second link lo click cheste meeku 64-bit di select cheskoni download cheyanamma. Just give next and install. That's it. Okay. Is it clear? So to execute the commands, we need the server, MySQL Server 5.0. Okay. If your laptop configuration is high, you can download 8.0 also. Okay. Is it clear? Yes or no? Sit down. మరి ఇప్పుడు వరకు చెప్పినవన్నీ అర్థమయ్యాయా? Yes or no?